Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video, we are going to begin working on a new project called Random Password Generator. And this project is going to basically be a website where we can click a button and it gives us a random password that is complex, meaning it uses uppercase, lowercase, letters, it uses numbers, it uses special symbols, all of that stuff. So it's going to give us a complex password every time we click the button. And we're going to have the functionality that you can click a button to copy that password so you can paste it in wherever you want to go. Alrighty, so to do this, we are going to create a new project in a website called Replit. Replit is a fantastic website for pretty much all programming that I do that's not specifically for a certain engine. If I'm doing game development, for example, if I'm just working on a regular web development project or let's say a Python project, I'm using Replit. And the reason why is because Replit covers so many different programming languages and it's on the cloud. So I have access to my projects no matter where I go. And it makes it super easy. So go to replit.com, create an app or sign up, and then you will get a page that kind of looks like this. The first step is to click Create REPL. So I'm going to click that. And I want to choose the template that I'm looking for. For me, it pulls up my three favorites: HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python, and Java, because those are the three languages I program in mostly. I'm going to choose HTML, CSS, and JavaScript as my template. If you don't find it, you can just start typing HTML and you'll easily be able to find it. For the title, I'm going to title this project Random Password Generator. All right, Random Password Generator, and I'm going to click Create REPL. And it's going to build a new project in Replit for me. Now this new project, it might be a bit confusing, but let me go ahead and explain what we're looking at here. Up here at the top, we have our basic toolbar or our file menu, essentially. I can look at the project itself. I can go back to my home. I can turn off this sidebar here if I want to. I can click Replit Resources. This is not something that I dig into too much, but it'll show you how much of your computer and your RAM that you're using with your Replit project. I have a Run button, which when I click that, it'll apply whatever changes I've written in here to the preview. I have search and run commands. I have invite, deploy, all of this stuff over here. I don't really worry about any of this right here. Over in this section, we have the Files section. We have Files. This is all of the files that are associated with our project. Right now, we have index.html, script.js, and style.css. Those are for the three languages we're going to use: HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. This video is going to be focused on the HTML. In the next video, we'll get into the style code. And in the final video, we'll get into the script code. Alrighty. Here in the middle, this is our workspace. So we have our index file here, we have our script file here, and we have our style file. We can actually just, let's open up all three so they're all right here, and I can just tab between them. Okay. Over here we have our preview. Our preview is great, but I'd actually rather preview my application as a full website, so I can see what it looks like as a full website. So I'm going to slide this over to get rid of my preview. I have it here and I can refresh whenever I want to see the changes I've made. And to that end, I'm going to actually get rid of this menu as well because I have my files up here. Oh, actually, I forgot. There's some pictures we need in this project. So pictures can be really easily added to a web page, but they have to be inside your files section. And I'm going to organize my pictures by creating a folder. So new folder, and I'm going to say images, all lowercase. And now I'm going to drop my pictures into this images folder. The pictures I'm using are this copy picture icon and this generate icon. I'm using both of these. So I'm going to just drag these over. These will be in the details section. You'll be able to download these. Alrighty. And they're in my images folder. Great. Now I can collapse this bar because I don't need it. Now I have all this space for text. Fantastic. Okay, let's get into HTML and what it is. This HTML page here is the default page that they give us whenever we create a new project in Replit. On line 1, we have the doc type. The doc type is essentially just a line of code that tells the browser what language we're using for this project. So for this project, we're using HTML5, so it's created an HTML5 doc type. You don't need to know this, just don't delete that. Next, we have the HTML element. HTML open tag here and the HTML close tag make up the HTML element. We know that it's a close tag because it has the / in front of the tag name. So this HTML tag will encase all of the code that is HTML code. So everything between, didn't go far enough. Everything between the HTML open and HTML close is going to be HTML code. Then we have our head section. Head section has an open tag and a close tag, and everything inside the head section is stuff that, the website needs, but it doesn't necessarily, it isn't going to show up on the web page. So for example, we're figuring out the character set that we're using for this website. We're figuring out the name of this content, and we're figuring out the device width for the content. We have a title. The title is what is the name or what is the text that's going to be displayed on the tab when it's open in a new tab. So I can change this to password generator. And when I come over here and refresh, notice that now my title has updated to password generator. Okay, beautiful. Then we have link hrefstyle.css. This is the link to our style sheet, our style.css sheet. So we want to make sure that's there so that we can actually write code in here and it gets applied to here. Okay. Then we have our body element. We have a body open tag, body close tag. Everything inside the body is stuff that's going to be displayed on the page. Well, not everything. This hello world, this text is being displayed on the page, but that's actually the incorrect way to display text. I'm going to go ahead and delete that. What we have left is this script element, and the script element is for linking to the javascript.js file over here. So it's important that this stays here because we are going to be writing some JavaScript. It's also important that we make sure we do not put any code below this script file. We don't want to start writing our HTML code here. We want to write our HTML code above the script file. This should be the last thing in the body. And the reason why is because there are things in this project or inside of this script file that are going to need to reference items on the HTML page. And so we have to run those before we run the script. So that's just gee whiz for you. If you'll get all kinds of errors if you don't have this at the bottom. Alrighty, so let's talk about what we're going to add to this page. What I want is some text at the top. I want some text up here that says generate a random password, and then I want a text box where I can show the password. I want a copy icon inside the text box so that I can click that and copy. And then I want a button at the bottom that I can click to generate a new password. Very easy website, right? Not too many items. So let's go ahead and start adding those. The first thing is I want to add something called a div. A div is like a box that we can put other content in. So I'm going to create a div by typing this angle bracket here, the word div, and then close that angle bracket. And then Replit is automatically going to give me my close tag, which is fantastic. And I appreciate Replit for doing that. But I want some content in between the open tag and close tag. So I'm going to hit enter, and then I can start adding content. There's something else that I want to add to this div though. Inside the open tag, I want to create something called a class, or better said, I want to associate a class to this div. This is going to allow us in the next video to start adding styles specifically to this element and no other elements on the page. And my lights turned out. There we go. My lights are motion activated, and I haven't been moving around a lot, so they turned off. So I'm going to create a new class, set it equal to, and let's call this container. Okay, now inside my div, I want a header, which is big text. So I'm going to say h1 for header 1, and I'm going to write generate a random password. So this is going to create a big text on my screen. There we go. Generate a random password. Easy enough. All right. And underneath that, I want another div with a class of, let's call this display, because this is where we're going to display our password. Now, it didn't create my end tag there, so I'm going to do it I'm going to do it on my own. But notice that my cursor is indented. It's indented 1. That's because it's thinking I'm about to start writing content for inside this div. But I actually want to hit backspace so that my end tag is on the same line as my div, so that I can see that that end tag belongs to that div open tag. All right. So the first thing I want in my display is an input field, and it's going to be a text field. So I'm going to create an input, and the type is going to equal text. And I'm going to give this an ID. IDs are a way for us to identify specific elements in JavaScript. So I'm going to call this password. We're going to need that whenever we write the JavaScript for this website. And the last thing I want is I want a placeholder. Placeholder will give us some text that will automatically be in the text field to like give some instructions. And the placeholder is going to be password. Oh, let's end. Yeah. So the input element does not have an end tag. Input element is one of the kinds of elements that does not have an end tag. So we're going to just leave that like that. Okay. So input does not have an end tag. Let's take a look at what our input box looks like. There it is. So we have a text field, and we can start typing into it. Okay. This is where our password is going to be generated whenever we click the password generation button. Okay. Next, we want to copy. We want that copy button to be inside of, let's just put it next to the input field. So we're going to create an image, img. We want the source of that image to be inside of our images, / and we want copy.png, because that is a file that is inside my images folder, copy.png. It's this picture here. So we want that picture on our website. So copy.png. Alrighty, let's see if that happened. And it did. It's really nice and big. We're going to change the size there. But for now, the password index, or the password field is there, and the image that we need is there. Okay, and the last thing we need is our button. But the button is not going to be inside the display section, but it is going to be inside the container. So I need to make sure the button is in between these two end tags, because again, I don't want it inside here, but I do want it inside here. So I'm going to go to the end of that end tag, hit enter, and then I'm going to create a new button. And I think that's it. Let's say generate password. Okay, so now I can refresh, and now I have a button called generate password. It doesn't do anything yet. We're going to change that sometime soon. And actually, no, I want that. I want the lightning bolt picture. Let me show you. I want this to be inside the button next to the text. So let's do that. So right here, before the text, I'm going to create another image element, img, src equals, and it's going to be images/generate, which is the name of the file, .png. If you've named your files something different, then your pictures may not be called generate.png. And if you didn't put your pictures in an images folder, then you won't have this images/. What that's essentially saying is go inside the images folder and find this file. Okay. All right. Let's see what that looks like. And there we go. We've got the picture there inside the button. We've got that picture. This website looks really gross. It looks really, really stupid. It is not a good looking website, but that's okay, because in the next video, we are going to write all the style code to make this look really nice. Okay. It's going to look really, really nice. All right. So that's going to be it for this video. I'm going to stop it here, and I will see you guys next time when we get into styling the web page to make it look really nice. See you then.